Hey there, I'm James McKinven.
And I'm Dago Renouf.
And you're listening to This Indie Life. This Indie Life follows the journey of two indie hackers as we navigate the good, the bad and the ugly, attempting to turn our indie hacker dreams into reality. Dago runs Logology, a logo design product, and has a Twitter service called Dominate Twitter. I run a podcast editing service and a handmade leather wallet side project. In this episode, Dago's got to the bottom of his illness and is on the road to recovery. You won't believe what it is. After months of positivity and growth, I might be running into some mental health problems, so we try and stop it from getting worse. But there is some good news for me later on in the episode. Let's get into it. What's new? Why are you so excited to tell me your updates? Why am I going to be blown away by them?
Okay, because, so this is going to sound so stupid and so silly, but I'm completely cured now, and this wasn't COVID.
That's really cool, man. You look way better. What's fixed you?
But you're going to like it. You're going to like why? Because basically, it's, and it's funny that I feel happy about it, it's like the most massive breakdown, burnout, depression. And I started realizing this last week because it was getting worse and worse, 5 weeks of feeling like shit like that. And Lucy was getting really worried because we have to cancel all of our plans. We can't do anything. It's very terrible. And she calls a friend and the friend tells her, well, you know what? This is exactly what my husband had last year. And she starts explaining, and that's exactly like me. That's like a guy who loves his work. He's never sad, never depressed, never negative. And basically last year he wakes up one day and he cannot get out of bed because if he does, his heart just jumps to, crazy high heart rates and he feels like he's going to die. And it looks a lot like long COVID, because it's like you have chronic fatigue, your heart rate goes crazy, you have all of these things. So you think, and then this guy, so he went through the whole thing that I went through. Like he went to the doctor said it's fine. Then he went to the cardiologist and the cardiologist says, you're all good, but you should go see a psychiatrist. He was like, okay. So he goes there and the psychiatrist tells him, dude, you're in a depression. And this guy was not understanding it because he's similar to me. He's like, dude, but I love my work. I love my job. I'm happy. How can I be doing a depression? But the psychiatrist still gives him antidepressants. Then he starts taking them and the next day he's completely cured. So when I heard that story, I was like, the guy had spent months in bed like me. I mean, that was 5 weeks. And that was very shocking to me to think, can that be a burnout? When I started, getting sick, a few friends of mine told me, hey, maybe you're just burning out. It sounds like what I went through. But every time I kept saying, yeah, but I've had a burnout before. And it was because I had a boss. I had constraints on top of me that I didn't want to do. All of lack of autonomy. So I was like, so it's probably not burnout because I'm happy. But anyway, because this story of this guy was so similar to mine, because he loves his work, very fulfilled, and yet it happened to him, I was like, okay, I have nothing to lose. What if it's burnout? What if it's a burnout? So on Saturday, I spent the evening meditating on, okay, what if it's burnout? What is happening? And just telling myself that I was burning out, it kind of removed the pressure I was feeling. It removed kind of a stress that I didn't know I had about work. And the next day, Sunday, I had 0 symptoms. I was running across the house, doing everything I wanted. Nothing was bothering me. So I thought, wow, this is crazy. Going from 5 days can't walk to in my best shape. So I was pretty optimistic. And then I was like, oh, okay. So I just had to acknowledge I had a burnout. So I'm pretty happy, right? And then next day, so Monday morning, I get out of bed and I can't get out of bed, worse than I ever had in 5 weeks. And since I had started meditating on my feelings and the potential of burnout, I realized it's because it's Monday, I have to work again. And I can't because I'm just so stressed out. So right now we're recording this on a Thursday. I haven't worked this week. And I'm basically try to change the entire way that I work so it doesn't lead me to burnout and, meditating a lot and questioning everything. Because I didn't think I could burn out if I kind of wanted to work hard. If I want to work hard, if I want to work my ass off and I'm successful, we make money. We're I didn't think I could burn out. but I'm actually going through fucking massive nervous breakdown that I could literally die out of a heart attack because of it.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's strange that internalizing it, or it's awesome that internalizing it is what starts to cue you and make you feel better. Second of all, I think I remember saying this.
Oh, you probably did. Yeah, as I said, a few friends of mine told me this.
And you were like, yeah, I've done 70 hours this week and 60 hours. And I'm like, I've done 20. And I was like, it's too much. It's too much. And it is also such bizarre timing, Dago, because I'm going through the exact fucking opposite thing right now. The exact same thing right now, where you know how we sort of swapped, where you were really happy and I was miserable, and then we sort of, you like gone through this COVID, which we actually find out is now burnout, and then I was going up. I feel like it's switching again, because I've had some of the worst week I've had in a while, because I've just been working so fucking hard to try and get my income up. And I knew this was the reason I was doing it. I knew that it would be hard for a while, but the idea was that I would get my income up and work really hard and then find a way to sort of reduce the work. But I didn't actually have a plan for that. Like, we've spoken about the finish line, but the finish line was the goal of where I can get to, but not how am I going to keep up this level of work sustainably. So
yeah, that was temporary.
I've just taken on client after client after client, and it's just hit me like a brick wall. It started last week, and then it's been worse this week, where it's slowly dropping and dropping and dropping. My mental health, and every day this week has been a bit of a battle to get anything done, and it's hard because I've got deadlines for clients, and I enjoy the work. I'm enjoying the podcast stuff, and all my announcements have been really positive recently. My money is pretty much fine at the moment. I'm being paid, and it's sort of, I'm keeping my head above water, but doing the actual work is a bit too much. So I've just sort of struggled.
Yeah, that's something I understand. Like, you are sacrificing something temporary because it's not like what you ultimately want to do. You don't ultimately want to do so much client work, right? It's too much. But still, like, I feel like I'm discovering burnout. Like, I used to burn. It happened to me once, like a big time, like 10 years ago. But that was with clients, kind of like you. So it seems like it makes sense to me.
Yeah, but I mean, like, my client work at the moment is it's not like clients where I'm not enjoying working with them, or the work is challenging, or we have a disagreement on vision, or there's loads of feedback. That is what can often lead to it when you're working for clients, because you end up resenting it. I'm really enjoying the work I'm doing for the clients, and I'm really good at it, and there's no like rounds of feedback, there's no misalignment on vision. Yeah, it's all the stuff that I want to do and I'm good at, and I'm being paid handsomely for it. It's just simply too much. And it does not surprise me that you burnt out with the amount you were working and not giving yourself a fucking break. It was crazy, Dago, with the course. Do you sort of see that now?
There's a TV show on Amazon Prime, which is in the whole world, but in France too, and it's called LOL. And it's about, a bunch of comedians who go into kind of a room for 6 hours, and they have to not laugh. And the goal of the game is you shouldn't be laughing. You must be the last one who didn't laugh after the 6 hours, and that's how you win. And on that show, usually the ones who win, basically at some point, they literally can't laugh anymore. Like they kind of like change the wires in their brains during the show, and at the end, nothing makes them laugh. And they just like are stuck. And I feel like that's what I did to myself building a startup. I made it so I can never feel bad. I never feel like negative. Literally 2 weeks ago, we were recording and I thought I had long COVID and there was no hope of recovery and it was terrible. And I was saying, it's a good thing. I'm improving my productivity. I was like focused on the positive. I'm like, I wired myself to see the positive, but it's only on the mental level. Even right now, I'm literally happy I'm in a burnout because I wired myself to see only the positive, be optimistic, because it was required for me to like survive with this startup journey, which is crazy. So
you've had a week off, or you're taking this week off so far. Is that completely off? Because you're doing this podcast, and if I was taking a week off, I would have told, if I had known you were taking a week off, I would have said not to do the podcast because it's still work.
Oh, okay. So it's because, when I meditated, I really found the problem, what it was.
Yeah.
And the problem is like, I'm so addicted to Twitter. I spend way too much time on it and it's killing me.
Yeah.
And I don't even need it to grow. Like, I'm not even following my own tips from my course where I give like a 30 minutes routine that you can do and that's fine. But I do like a 5 hours routine. I'm just like completely nuts because I'm like too addicted because I'm addicted to feeling like I'm the shit. You know, I'm addicted to the likes. I'm addicted to all that. And it's reassuring me that I'm like worth something because, you know, startup isn't making that much money. Like we're not reaching the goals that we had. And I feel like I'm more legitimate because of the likes on my tweets. And that's shameful, but that's true. And I'm completely addicted to it. So basically I haven't gone on Twitter for like 5 days. And that was enough to make me completely, you know, feel better. So now I'm like scheduling a new routine that I can do that is going to be way less triggering for me. I think everybody reacts differently, but like I'm definitely in that boat of like it made me feel something positive and it made me kind of like addicted to it. And because of it, it led to forgetting the important things like building logology, you know, connecting with people. And I'm just like Twitter all the time because it like gives me sugar and also some money. So I'm kind of like, you know, crazy over it.
Yeah. Well, given that you went so long without earning that much, when you launched the course and you did get money from Twitter, you can definitely justify spending more and more time on it because it then leads to more sales for your course.
The more I spend time on it, the more money I make. Now, that said, there's like diminishing returns.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I just spent like 1 hour per day, I would be getting 80% of the returns. I don't have to spend 5 hours on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
So what have you been doing on your time off?
Playing even more video games. I got even more games. I'm playing Halo Infinite, which I love because I love Halo. Cyberpunk, I got yesterday.
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption 2, which I love.
So good.
So yeah, I mean, I've been like, and meditating a lot. I mean, once I knew it was burnout, it's like a light switched in my head and there was hope because when it was long COVID, there was no hope. You just wait and you hope you don't die and you get better. But with burnout, it was like, I can get out of this. You know, I just have to change the way I work and all that. And also acknowledge that I'm stressed out, but you know, it's manageable.
It just goes to show how powerful our minds can be and why we should keep them in check as much as we can. And how I'm feeling right now, I've got to be so careful, Dago. I've got to try and get it back right again because your mind is what switched there. It was your realization from thinking this was a physical thing and you were helpless to actually it's a mental thing and you could do something about it.
Yeah.
And that is all up here. So taking care of your mental health can be the difference between you a week or 2 weeks ago and you now, which is a crazy difference. I can hear it in your voice. You sound awesome and it's really happy to see that it was worrying, man. Lots of people were worried about you when they were listening and you're showing up in bed every week.
And I feel so bad. I feel so bad for also people who actually have long COVID. I feel like such an idiot now.
Don't feel bad because mental health is just as bad as physical health in some ways. It can be equally as debilitating.
Yeah. So, but now like the challenge is like, okay, how do I work now?
Yeah.
I think I found a solution. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I think if just I change my way of approaching Twitter and I need to graduate from engaging every day for hours to try to show the world that I exist to just focusing on writing some tweets that are good and engaging once a week, you know, to show that I'm there, to, you know, be nice to people because I still want to be nice to people. I hate when people don't reply. So I don't want to do the same to people. But taking it easier because now I have enough momentum anyway. And actually I was surprised to see that this week my tweets performed pretty good, even though I wasn't there at all.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah, very good feeling, yeah. And so I'm like, cool. Now I'm going to move Twitter in maintenance mode, you know, start maintaining instead of just like, I mean, if I just get 50 followers per day instead of 100, it's okay. And I know it sounds like a rich people problem to say this, but like I was so addicted to it, it feels scary to me. But I'd rather like we make a bit less money in the short term, but I can spend the time, you know, building stuff that is more long term, like logology, SEO, and stuff that can help us. Even when I'm not tweeting, we can still make money.
When are you going to go back to working? I know what you're going to say and I know what I think you should do.
Okay, I think I know too. I think I know you're going to say like 1 month and I'm going to say today. But you will be surprised because I actually started working today already. So like it's already over. No, I'm kidding. But like, no, I mean, seriously, like yesterday I worked like 1 hour. But again, the stress comes a lot from, so not just Twitter, but also the emails, the DMs, all the interacting with others basically. Because people don't realize this, but I'm like introverted. So just like taking a step back from that is already amazing feeling.
I don't know, man.
Already like,
I think that taking a break needs to be literally a full break, not dipping in and out. There's people that take their laptops on holiday when they go somewhere. I'm completely anti that. I'm like, delete all your apps off your phone. Just take a full break from everything. And I feel that's the only way to fully reset yourself. Otherwise, you're half in, half out, doing an hour here because you'll still have that mental load on. Whereas if you allow yourself to mentally fully check out for a week, and I think a week is fine, like fully gone.
That, I mean, like the past, I mean, except for yesterday, I basically stopped on Friday last week up to, I did like 5 days, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but considering how bad your burnout was, I think you should probably take
but
a little bit
longer. But that was
like
a physical burnout, not mental. So.
Caused by what?
No, yeah, that's by stress. But like what I mean is that it didn't lead me to be depressed or anything. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I don't know.
But maybe I'm just trying to like bargain.
Bargain for extra hours work.
Yeah. So yeah, what about? I'll keep you posted, and hopefully I don't break down. So you said you were kind of in a pretty bad place, and you're like, scared you're gonna go deeper or something.
Yeah, it's not horrendous. Like I'm still doing stuff, but so ultra aware of how bad it can get. And I think taking so much on and having so many deadlines throughout the week, it's just causing me to. I spoke last episode about when I miss a day, it set me off, and I just was behind. I did that again this week. But then the Tuesday, I didn't manage to catch up at all. So I was like 1.5 days. And then the Wednesday is like my big deadline day. I've got like 3 podcasts that come out on that day. And I meant to have done them basically in the Monday and Tuesday. And by 4 p.m, I hadn't even done one of them. And it's just when things get on top of me like that and I don't see a solution, instead of like going into beast mode and fixing it, I just sort of cover up and go,
No, I get it.
So that's
interesting. It's interesting. Like that is the same thing as what's happening to me is that with Twitter, because I put so much emphasis on it, if I miss a day of replying or engaging with people, I feel so bad. So I have every day this kind of like performance to do. And you is the same because you have like literally no free room in your schedule. No. So if you miss a day, everything kind of like falls apart and then you're so stressed.
Uh-huh. And to be honest, I don't actually see a route out of this. And I didn't think about this too much when I was building up the work for the income, because I know I need the income because of years of bad choices. And this is the only way I can fix where I am. And I tried for a few weeks to work a regular 9 to 5, and you know what? That worked so bloody well. So I wasn't overworking in terms of hours. I was still doing a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, and I was taking weekends off. So I was very careful of that. But I guess what's happened here, the intensity of the work. So where it's edits, you've got to be so damn focused. And it's funny, anyone that I speak to that tries doing edits for themselves, Dago, go, wow, shit, you've really just got to sit here and because you can't listen to music.
Oh, yeah, that's terrible. Edits is so fucking hard.
Yeah. And imagine doing that like 6 hours a day and just being focused on.
When I was doing my course, I think I couldn't do more than 4 hours a day. That was like, yeah.
And when you have to do it, like you can't take a break because of deadlines. If I let it slip at all, which I have done, you then get further and further behind. That leads to unhappy clients. And I've fallen down with that before. So I'm thinking about it, Dago. I don't actually know the solution for this. Could it be...
What about the finish line? Like, wasn't there like a clear, like 1 month out finish line where like it would get easier?
Yeah. I mean, in theory, yes, but that was the only thing I could really drop was doing 2 episodes of Indie Bites a week and go down to the 1. And I've already fallen down to 1 a week at the moment because it's been too much. And I'm basically replacing that with extra work because I'm going up to once a week with Uncensored CMO in April. So the work's not going to drop.
But why do you have extra work? Because you don't need all the money.
Yeah, I need all the money. Yeah.
Because like you were fine, because like you were literally fine with the money. I mean, the path for the money was good, only a couple of weeks ago, but now you're saying you have even more work, but it's still required.
No, it's the same amount of work plus the one for the big deal, the video weekly. So it's the same amount of work, and the money on paper is good, but I need to keep it up. But I didn't realize it wouldn't be unsustainable. Like if I put down all the edits and the clients I have on paper, and then all the income, it's like, yeah, that's absolutely fine. That's sustainable. I can make that happen. But I guess in reality, I've realized that it's not, because I'm not accounting for maybe some of the bits in between that I need to do, such as lots of emails and admin.
And like some days, like maybe one day your computer is going to break down and you can't work for a couple of days. Like you always need some kind of like headroom or like wiggle room.
So we had a finish line in terms of getting some of my debt paid down, so I've got a bit more income, and then the treat that I wanted to buy myself. That's all good. That's all coming up mid-April. But in terms of making the level of work I've got to do at the moment sustainable, I don't quite know. The obvious solution is to hire someone, but I don't know if I can afford that, again, with the income. I've been trying to take time out as much as I can during the day to go and do things. So I played squash for a couple of hours a day, played pickleball yesterday, football, badminton. So I've just been like trying to get myself out and active, so at least my body's moving. But I do shit like ordering Taco Bell just before this call because I was feeling miserable and I was like, oh, I'm hungry, and I know I'll just get some Taco Bell, and I know that's not good for me. And I'm drinking a Pepsi Max instead of water. I really only drink water at the moment, and I'm like sabotaging in some areas at the moment. But
sometimes, when you're in a breakdown, I sabotage too. So it sounds pretty desperate because it sounds like there's no hope. So is there any way to get hope back?
Yeah, I think taking a couple of days off and like resetting, reevaluating, and double checking all the edits and that I actually can do them. Because I said if I wrote down on paper the work that I've got to do and the income I'm going to do, I haven't double checked that in a few weeks, and I've got new clients since. So maybe a good exercise for me to do would be to write down all the edits I have to do, when I'm going to do them, and see if that's sustainable. Because I have the tendency to do this, Dago, where I go, well, I've done 3 edits a day before. I can do it again. I can do that every day, when that's not true.
Oh yeah, no,
that is not true.
Yeah,
just because you can do it one day doesn't mean you can do it every day.
You have to take the worst day as like the estimation case.
Exactly. You're so right. So that'll be an exercise for me to go through all the work I have to do on a weekly basis and plan out to see if it's actually sustainable, and then look at, okay, which clients should I lose, or can I increase my prices for some of the clients so I can balance out the lost client?
Yeah.
And can I make it so it's easier to produce indie bites? Can we outsource the editing for this show? Can we get a sponsor in that can pay for that? That could work, because like our episode we recorded last Wednesday, I still haven't edited. I haven't even touched it because I've been so behind on all the client edits, and I felt really bad about that. So,
like it's like a vicious circle anyway. Like once you miss one, I totally understand that, and then it's hard to climb back up, because then you have new ones that add on top of it. So it's kind of like...
And like this evening, I probably should do more work and get some shit done. I should edit our show, but all I can think about is sitting down and going and playing FIFA, because I don't feel like it. And I've still got outstanding work that I haven't done that I still need to just do, and I haven't.
Well, at least now I know what burnout feels like, so I have more empathy. I already knew, but like I know like the second type. Maybe there's a third type I will discover soon. But, at least I know 2 types of burnout. Working for somebody else and working for yourself.
Well, it's good you feel so much better, and I'm pleased it wasn't long COVID and we've got to the bottom of it and you're feeling better. It's good. Yeah. Well, Indie Bites, I've been teasing it for the last month. I literally agreed this with them 3 weeks ago, but I finally announced it on Twitter this week. The partner for Indie Bites this year is Email Octopus, and I put a tweet thread out about it. I'll put it in the show notes. Email Octopus, they're an email sending platform based in London. I met up with the founders. They're great guys, and they sort of responded to my first initial tweet about the acquisition or year-long sponsor, and they're like, we just want to help. And I love that they're just out to help another indie founder, and I'm using their product it's a very solid email product, and that is what you need from an email sending software. You need something solid that has good deliverability and will let you send emails for good value, actually. Cool, dude. All right, should we wrap it up here?
Yeah, let's wrap up, man. I really hope like it gets better this week for you, and it still gets good for me. And so next week, we have a bit more exciting and hopeful news to share, because I'm always like feeling weird when we're sharing a bit too sad news. So,
well, good chat, and I will speak to you next week.
Yeah, see you next week, dude.
Thank you for listening to this episode of This Indie Life. Hope you enjoyed the chat between me and Dago. If you've got any questions or feedback, feel free to message us on Twitter. Our handle is @IndieLifePod. I'll pop a link in the show notes for you. And if you want to watch us instead of listen, a reminder that the pod is on YouTube now. That's all from me. Stay indie. James out.